Hello, welcome to Indie Tutorials. My name is Guillermo and I would like to thank the Patreon supporting this channel. Let's continue today by creating the inputs to activate our abilities. So let's go to the ORK Framework editor. So if you remember, under the status abilities, we already created this attack, guard, thunder and blizzard abilities, but we don't have any way yet to enable or activate those. So let's go back to the base control, input keys, and let's add 4 keys here. And we are already using Unity Input Manager to allow us to have like both Xbox controller mapping and the keyboard mapping at the same time. So if you remember, if we go to the edit project settings, in the input manager we already set up all these inputs, and we are going to be using the one from Y, X, B and A buttons to activate our abilities. Those are already mapped to some joystick button. And alternatively, they have key binding as well, but we are going to be using just the controller for this case. So let's close it up, project settings, and go back to the ORK editor, and here in the input keys, let's add 4 of them. Select the first one, and for the sake of being able to see to which button is mapped, I will use this naming convention like action key underscore Y, so I know that this is bound to the Unity Input Manager Y key. We can leave it as it is, the rest of it. Then let's go to the next one. I'm going to be using clockwise direction, so the next one is going to be the B button, so let's call it action key underscore B. Input manager, Unity Input Manager, and then we choose here the name of the key is B. Let's go to the next one, action key underscore A. Select input origin is Unity Input Manager A key, and the last one, action key underscore X. Select input origin Unity Input Manager, and the name is going to be X. Save all your changes, and the next step, since now we have our input keys, is to create a control map. So let's do that now. Let's navigate to the control map section and create a new one. Let's call it action key map, action keys map. We could call it also ability keys or ability actions, whatever you want. So in this case, we can leave sound channel and everything, but what I want to do is to add a success clip and a fail clip, just to have a feedback whenever we click on those actions. So for the success clip, let's search in our folder we have in the audio resources UI. So we could choose for the success, let's select the menu cursor, and for the fail, let's select the beep. Remember to change the resource type of, or the reference type to resources. And then in the usable in, we want this control map to be used only during our real-time battle. Okay, grid battles, let's say no, and let's save the changes before continuing. Alright, so for requirements we don't need any requirement because we already set using this and setting it just for real-time battles, which is okay for now. But let's add the control key now. So this control map will contain all 4 action key that we created before. So here in the input settings input key, we select the first one. Why? We can leave these settings as they are, but for the type of action, for the action type, the type is action, okay, but the action type instead of attack or ability itself is going to be shortcut, because we don't want to bind this control map to a specific ability but to a shortcut, like a slot shortcut, like when you have ability shortcuts. So let's do that. Select shortcut here. The shortcut list index was going to be 0 and the shortcut slot index is going to be 1. Down below, for the use group target and individual target, we can leave it checked. Requirements during target selection, of course. We can see the documentation, what it means. And here we have let's say a override for the success clip if you wanted to use a separate or different clips per action, but that's okay for now. So let's see, we can collapse the first control clip and do a copy 2, 3 and 4 times. Okay, so let's go now to the control key 1, and in this case in the input settings let's choose action key B. In this case the slot is going to be index 2. Let's move down, and the next one is going to be action key A. The slot index is going to be 3, and let's move down, and the last one is going to be action key X, and of course the index is going to be 4. Let's save the settings, and we have our control map ready. The next step is to assign this control map to our player class instead of adding to each combatant, since we are using a class that holds the 3 schematas for lining. So we already set here the sprint or field attack control map, so let's just add this new one control map, action key map, and this control map will be automatically added for each combatant that belongs to this class. That's the goal. So let's save the settings and let's continue. Alright, the next step is to create the shortcut assignments to our schemata. So here in the combatant section we already have the red schemata, so let's close it up, all the settings, and select the shortcut settings. And here in the shortcut assignment you can see that we can use a class level shortcut, but we don't want that because each schemata, the red, the blue and later on the yellow schemata, will have its own shortcut settings. So what we need to do here is select the on list count, and the shortcut list is going to be just 1. And here in the shortcut assignment, if we click on that one, we can then add a shortcut. Actually we want 4 of them, but let's start with the first one. So the shortcut list index is going to be 0, and the shortcut slot index is going to be 1. Now the shortcut type is going to be ability, and here we can select the ability that will be executed when we click the first shortcut, which is mapped to the Y button of the controller. After doing so, we can then copy this one 2, 3, 4 times, and then in the shortcut assignment we can change the second one, which is mapped to the B, to be, for example, attack. We need to change actually this to 2, shortcut slot index to 2. The next one is going to be slot index 3. The ability that we can select here is Blizzard, and the last one, shortcut index 4, and the ability is going to be guard. Okay, save the changes and let's move on. Okay, so before testing, as you see that we are assigning some abilities to the shortcut for this combatant, but this ability need to be learned or assigned actually to the combatant, but that is handled in the class at class level, because we want those ability to be also available for the blue schemata and for the future yellow schemata. So let's go back to the classes, and here in the lightning class, scroll down into the ability development, and here remember that we added early on the videos the sprint ability. So let's add 4 more abilities, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and for the learn ability 1, let's select attack. We don't need any of these settings. Learn ability 2 is going to be guard. We can also remove the show notification, show console and class change, forget and learn. And the third is going to be thunder. We can remove as well, uncheck this. And the last one is going to be blizzard. So let's save the changes, close the editor, and Ctrl P to run a test. Let's find jumper and start the battle. So now I'm going to click the Y button, then the B button, the A button, and the X button. What you see here in the screen is that this is the combatant selection, so it's asking me, do I want to attack jumper? So this is one thing that we're going to remove, because we don't want this menu selection screen. But at least we can see that our control map is working properly. Let's stop the play mode and continue. Okay, so to disable the target selection menu, let's go to ORK Framework again, editor, and in this case navigate to the barrel system. Then we have this target system section, and this is the culprit, use target menu. So uncheck that one and save the changes. And since we are here, I also want to go back to the real-time battles. And if you remember, when we tested before, we were able to jump, and that's an action that we don't want during battles, at least not controlled by the player, but for the ability itself. There is an ability that uses the jump attack, then we do that, but not for the player controller. So here in the control block settings, we need to set the block player control to control the block player when we are executing an action, and also we want that to block the in battle menu as well for the camera. Save the changes, and now we can test again. Control P. Find jumper. Oops. Pressing Y, B. I still can move. You saw that. This is the issue with the animator. So the animator input parameter still going on. But the control map is working. So let's click stop. And what we need to check now is again the input manager script from InVector. I think it's going to be easy if we go to the schemata and here, edit script. Let's wait Visual Studio to open. Now it's open that we put in the last time that we don't want to reset this parameter if actually if we are not in battle. So I'm wondering now let's remove the false check. Well, actually we can remove altogether, so it will always be reset whether this component is disabled. Later on we'll see what happened when we run some animations with root motion on them. So let's save the changes, go back to Unity, and let's see the outcome. Let's start play mode again. Okay, now you can see that I'm not able to move like before, and yet the control map is working. Okay. So on the next video we are going to start revisiting the abilities to add damage to jumper or the enemy that we had, and also the foundation of the ability cost against the ATB bar, a custom ATB bar that we are going to be building because we are using real-time battle and not the out-of-the-box active time bars or battles, because they are limited in the way we want this battle system to work. So stay tuning and see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye.